which is that China gave $5.5 million.
It's Mr. Timmons' time. It's Mr. Timmons' time.
For you to tell the American people that $7.8 million went to President Trump is an outright lie. It's a fabrication. Hold on, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because you're using businesses that existed decades prior to when he became president. And
you're saying all of them?
Hold on, and you're using HOA fees for multi-million-dollar properties that have been around since 2001. And again, even the fees that they pay for hotel rooms, that is a fee for a product, for a service. There's no service with Hunter Biden other than influence of the vice president or the president of the United States, and that is why we are here, because he will not answer questions in the exact manner that you have required for last Congress and the Congress before that.
Okay, so Jamie Raskin walked into a congressional hearing, tried to drop a bombshell about $7.8 million in foreign payments to Donald Trump, and a Republican congressman from South Carolina just dismantled him, piece by piece, in real time. And Raskin had no choice but to sit there and take it. That's what we're talking about today. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Tyra, and this channel is where we actually read the reports. Stay connected because new videos are dropping constantly, and I don't want you falling behind. Hit that subscribe button right now. Whew, let's get into it.
Earlier, before we recessed, we were discussing the ranking member's $7.8 million in foreign payments from at least 20 countries during his presidency, and I knew the answer. I knew that that was revenue, and it wasn't actually profits. Hold on, I will let you ask questions at the end of this. And you said, did I read the report? And so I did. And in the report, it actually specifically says these included payments from foreign governments and foreign government-owned or controlled entities to properties owned by Donald Trump, including Trump International Hotel in D.C., Vegas, Fifth Avenue, and this is my favorite, Trump World Tower at 845 United Nations Plaza in New York. So let's just use that one alone, because if you go down to page 20, footnote 23, it actually clarifies where this money came from to include the amount of money. And so what y'all did is you took a building that was built in 1999 and completed in 2001, and you have, it's 100 yards from the United Nations. So these foreign countries owned multi-million, $10 million, $20 million condos in one of the nicer buildings in New York. And I was just kind of shocked because I knew that you were using revenue and you weren't using actual profit that the president or the Trump organization made. You actually used HOA payments. Do you know how duplicitous it is for you to use HOA payments on a $20 million condo in New York? Like, it is outrageous. No, you can, I'm going to go through. We're going to go through all of them because you list them. And I see Saudi Arabia, $615, $422,000, Trump World Tower. And you go and you look, there's nothing there that is under $10, $12 million. So you're taking a $12 million property that was owned since 2001, and you're saying that this is somehow similar to Hunter Biden running all over the world and selling the big guy's influence? These are completely different things, and the fact that you even created this report and you're using it to shield us pursuing justice to make sure that this president is not compromised because his son has sold secrets to China, to Ukraine, is so disingenuous, it's so duplicitous. It's not even misrepresentation, it's a lie. I'm happy to hear this from you because, again, you told me to go read it. I read it. That's what it says. I can read you in footnote 23 where it says this report uses common charges or rent payments. All of these properties were owned prior to 2018. They didn't go out and purchase them because of the president. They were there for decades before this happened. That's the point. That's the difference.
Okay.
I'll let the facts
gentleman
get in the way of a good story.
Absolutely.
Would the gentleman yield? Thank you, my dear friend, for engaging in substance and not ad hominem attack. I very much appreciate that. Having said that, some of the payments, first of all, you said that there are lies in here. Can you find one factual inaccuracy?
So
there's not one.
For you to
in
tell
fact, you're quoting us. You're quoting us. But let me make this point. Which is that China gave $5.5 million.
It's Mr. Timmons' time. It's Mr. Timmons' time.
For you to tell the American people that $7.8 million went to President Trump is an outright lie. It's a fabrication. Hold on, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because you're using businesses that existed decades prior to when he became president. And
you're saying all of them?
Hold on, and you're using HOA fees for multi-million-dollar properties that have been around since 2001. And again, even the fees that they pay for hotel rooms, that is a fee for a product, for a service. There's no service with Hunter Biden other than influence of the vice president or the president of the United States, and that is why we are here, because he will not answer questions in the exact manner that you have required for last Congress and the Congress before that.
William Timmons, and I want to say his name correctly because this man deserves his flowers, walks into this hearing having done his homework. Not skimming, not vibes, homework. He went to page 20, footnote 23, and read exactly what the Democrats' own report said. And what did it say? That the so-called foreign payments to Trump included things like HOA fees. HOA fees on condos that foreign governments have owned since 2001. Let that sink in. Here's what's actually wild to me. Trump World Tower is literally 100 yards from the United Nations. Of course, foreign diplomats and government entities own units in that building. They've owned them for over 20 years. Nobody bought a condo in Manhattan because Donald Trump became president. That building existed. Those HOA payments existed. And Democrats took maintenance fees on a $12 million New York condo and tried to package it as corruption. That is not just spin, that is a fabrication. And Timmons called it exactly what it was. Now, compare that, and this is where it gets really frustrating, compare that to Hunter Biden literally flying on Air Force Two, meeting with foreign energy executives, and then those same executives wiring millions of dollars to shell companies that eventually made their way back to members of the Biden family. That's not HOA fees. That's not a hotel room. That's influence peddling. That's selling access to the Vice President of the United States. And the same people screaming about Trump's condo building sat in total silence about all of it. Complete silence. What Timmons exposed in that room wasn't just the flimsiness of one report. He exposed the entire strategy. Democrats have known from the jump that this report doesn't hold up to scrutiny. They know the difference between a pre-existing business asset and a pay-to-play scheme. They're lawyers. They went to law school. They understand the distinction, but they're counting on the fact that most people watching cable news won't flip to page 20, footnote 23. They're counting on the headline doing the damage before anyone reads the fine print. And that's exactly why moments like this one matter, because Raskin, whether he meant to or not, essentially admitted it. When Timmons laid it all out, Raskin's best response was asking if there were any factual inaccuracies in the report, not defending the framing, not defending the implications, just hiding behind the technicality that the numbers were real, even if the context was stripped away entirely. That's not a defense. That's a concession dressed up in a suit. Look, I'll give Raskin this. At least he engaged. At least he stayed in the room and had the conversation. But engaging isn't the same as being honest with the American people. And what the American people deserved from that hearing was honesty. They deserved someone to stand up and say, yes, we framed this in the most misleading way possible because we had nothing real to go on. Timmons came close to forcing that admission out of him, and that's a win. The frustrating part is that real corruption, documented, evidenced, corroborated corruption, is sitting right there in the Hunter Biden investigation, and we're spending congressional hours debating HOA fees on a Manhattan condo from 2001. It's maddening, and the American people are the ones paying for this theater, literally paying for it with their tax dollars, while the people who could actually hold the powerful accountable are busy manufacturing scandals instead. Timmons is the exception right now, and we need more of him. All right, that's going to do it for today. If this video had you fired up, share it, because this one is spreading fast and I don't want you to miss a thing. New content is coming, subscribe so you're always in the loop, and I'll see you in the next one.